with all the construction work that will be happening, we're talking about a lot of semi trucks going in and out on a small road. Will you be repairing the road from all the damage that's gonna be caused? I used to work for the highway department. I know how heavy those roads are and how
We
quickly they
have
go.
the 1,500 acres to the south of that, so most of our trucks will be coming through that, but we're not gonna be on.
Okay. My next concern, I guess, even for the rezone, what are your plans for the local wildlife? As far as I'm aware, there are quite a few endangered species that hang out in that area, and they use the trees for.
We will allow them on the 1,500 acres to the south. I mean, they're gonna be on the same land anyway.
Okay. And then my next question is, so I did a little research online and I found that LaRousse Holdings is currently in a court case with Cedar Lakes Estate, Robert Dunn, John Belden, and Jeff Evans for all the damage that was caused to their property and because of the construction that LaRousse has done. Based upon the documents that were given, since February 12, 2022, the defendant, LaRousse Holdings, has failed to implement proper stormwater detention, silt fencing, sediment control, resulting in trespass and damage to landowner plaintiff's property. Since it wasn't done in Austin, what are your plans in BB?
You realize anybody can file a lawsuit for anything, right? I can file a lawsuit against you for you looking at me wrong. So until it gets litigated, goes through the process, that's he said, she said. So until we go through that process, what you're reading right there, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean. I would ask you to go out there and look at it for yourself, and maybe you can show us what damage is done, because all the engineers and specialists that have been out there have not been able to show us a thing that we've done wrong.
Okay. I guess my concern is, so there's not a lot of traffic, but I mean, if we're estimating 2 cars per lot, that's upwards of 50 extra vehicles on the roads. And yes, there are 2 entrances, but Wynwood Center already sees an enormous amount of traffic, especially during the school year. As well as the other entrance around towards the BB Flea Market is not exactly the widest or prettiest roads. So would you be willing to add an extra exit? Anywhere, I'm asking you the question, man. You're the engineer in all of this. Well, if the big trucks would be coming, would you be willing to build a road?
No, not through the 1,500 acres.
Because there's no way you could build a new improved road. They can drive down Farm Road, dump trucks and concrete trucks. But 24 lots can't pay for an improved road.
I'm sorry, can you tell us again how the construction trucks are gonna get in and out, up and down Wynwood? Where will they come from?
That's gonna be the arcade cattle, because we have a road that comes right through where the gate is at the end of Wynwood Drive.
Okay.
So our construction equipment will access that property right through there. I'm not gonna sit there and say that if there's a day it rains, that we won't come down Wynwood, but that's not our main access point to be coming down.
Okay.
That road winds back around, right back into Wynwood, doesn't it? Not Wynwood Street, but Wynwood Drive.
That newest part of them.
Another question I have, well,
And we can access that all the way from the old highway going into Ward as well.
so you're
Just to make,
talking about,
excuse me just a moment, just to make sure, there are a lot of people that couldn't be here, they're probably watching online. So I'd like to take this one person at a time at the podium so everybody online can hear as well, if you don't mind. Sir, you got about another minute or so.
yeah, that's fine.
And I need to
I figured I
recognize
only
that.
have like 5 minutes. It's chill. My next question is, since you are going through the flood zone, what are your plans when it does flood? Because in BB, it rains for 2 inches, we get a flood, especially in that area. It is bad over there.
There's very little development that's going to be.
No, your trucks are going to be driving through the flood zone.
Guys, I'm not sure that Wynwood is not designed to handle a few dump trucks and some concrete
How thick is,
Designed to handle that. The roads in the subdivision will be designed to handle that.
And just,
24 lot development is not a large development.
and just for a matter of point, if you decided to do R1, and you meet all the specs, you can do R1.
As it sits currently.
Yeah, so, I mean, if the gentleman wanted to develop their property, it's.
no, I'm not worried about it being developed. I'm just trying to get all these questions answered. And personally, I'd rather it stay R1 because R4's in the back and it should stay in the back. Whereas up front where Wynwood is seen, that's where you first come in. We should leave it the suburban lifestyle that the neighborhood is known for. I believe that the lot should be big and respectable amount, as well as larger lots would allow for the flood zone to not be as big of an issue, whereas if you move it to R4, you're putting upwards of 8 homes in the flood zone. The line itself draws through 8 houses, right smack in the middle of all of them. And as far as I know, you can't just throw dirt in a lake and not expect the water to go further out. That is all.
Thank you, sir. Someone else wish to be recognized?
And just to clarify, and I'm saying it right, wrong, or taking sides, read the point. This is just the rezone, and when they bring the plat to the table, the city has an engineer that they have to meet the regulations and obligations that we require that it protects the city and the residents around it. So that goes to our engineers, which they're gonna get with the engineers of the developer, and they have to go through a comprehensive plan to show this is how these houses are gonna be built so they're not flooded. So there are safeguards in place that the city requires before this plat as he has it designed will go in. So again, right now, we're just talking about the rezone to R4. This plat could potentially change. This is just an idea of what they could do.
Sure.
I just have a couple,
Can
my
you
name's-
state your name and where you live?
Okay, my name's Dava Brock. I live at 1806 Applewood Cove in Wynwood subdivision. I just have a couple of questions about when the land is developed, how will we clean it? Because it looks like it's right next to that ditch. Will that ditch be cleaned out enough for the water to flow from all the different, how we're redoing the land? Do y'all know what I'm talking about, the drainage ditch there?
So the drainage pattern will stay the same, wherever it is, if we end up catching that storm drains, we're going to leave it open. We won't hinder that drainage.
Okay. Because I do know that's, yeah, because that ditch is like right next to it. And then my next question is, we do have 2 outlets from the neighborhood. One is you can't hardly get out of, so a lot of people do the back road, but it's falling in next to the, and I'm wondering if there's plans to fix that road.
That's a good question, and the ones that can address that would be the city council, the mayor, and the
Okay.
street department. But
Okay.
if there is something wrong with that street, certainly, I'm sure they would consider fixing
Yeah, because
whatever's
it is,
wrong.
I don't know, right there, it has some kind of little, a drainage, I don't know anything about the water, but there's a drainage thing in the middle of it, and
The
it's falling
manhole
down on
there.
each side.
Yeah, the big manhole.
Yeah, so, that was my only 2
Thank you, ma'am.
concerns.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
My name is Terry Sexton. In the neighborhood, I go by Randy, that's all you know me as. Anyway, live at 1800 Orangewood, been there for 30 years plus now. I like to approach this a little different. Call me crazy, I don't care. Mr. Larcher, I respect the man and the job that he's done on the flood zone that's down south of Wynwood. Done a great job. In fact, the farm ground, the hunting club that's out there, looks better than a lot of our yards. Looks great. I'd propose that you donate it to the college. Be a generous donation. I mean, I know that's not in your court anywhere. But that would be my proposal there. Do we have issues in the neighborhood? You bet. This is not a finger-pointing seminar, meeting. The code enforcement out there, I gotta say, is ridiculous, y'all. Mr. Squires, it has nothing to do with you, brother, nothing. We have yards that are not maintained at all. We've got used car lots in the front yards. We don't need more people. Leave the land alone. We have problems with animal control issues. I'm talking cats, dogs, rats, you name it, due to the lack of code enforcement. We have drug houses out there already. We don't need any more. We have known drug houses, which is an embarrassment to me as a citizen of this town that nothing gets done about it. Does it have anything to do with the development of this ground? Yeah, it does. We don't need any more out there. Like Davis spoke of, the gentleman over here, we have 2 degress zones, methods in and out of that neighborhood. Let one train derailment go on out there, and we're in a bind. We're in a huge bind. The traffic in and out of Wynwood, coming around the flea market, all that business is totally uncontrolled. We have kids, we have grown adults doing 50 mile an hour out there already. We don't need more people. Working with a VA as a veteran, you spoke of will not be apartments. I would like clarification on that apartments. They use the word game, duplexes, mobile homes, and all the rest of the stuff out there. And if you don't have a law degree with dealing with them, you're going to get screwed over. So as far as the legalities of all that stuff, I would like clarification on that.
I will just briefly say again,
Yes, sir.
that the rezone request is before us this evening from R1 to R4 would in no way allow multifamily dwelling or mobile homes or anything like that.
Okay.
There's no difference between those zones. They're allowed as much today as they would be then.
Okay.
They're not allowed now, and they would not be allowed if this is granted.
Okay. Flood zone. We talk so much, we give so much, place so much emphasis on the flood zone. I'm sure y'all will remember just recently, the South Fork, whatever area that was developed. Apparently, we had some oversights there as far as planning, addressing the needs of that over there, because we flooded it. Wynwood has been flooded and flooded and flooded and flooded. We've got empty concrete slabs out there right now. Real attractive. If I was to be wanting to live out there, sure, I'd jump right in that. Again, Mr. Lurcher has done a great job on the farm, but I think whether we go R1, R4, or R1972, don't care. I propose we not rezone it at all. Leave it alone. Keep the larger lots. Have a minimum square footage of 1,400 to whatever y'all want to decide. I'm a C-130 mechanic through and through. I'm not a developer. Thank you all.
Thanks for your time. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name's Andrew Flores. I live at 1801 Peachwood Cove. I just want to agree with Randy here and say I agree with what he mentioned. The infrastructure on this Wynwood subdivision can't handle more people. I mean, nothing's been done to fix any of the roads. They're in pretty poor shape. And of course, we all know that the flooding happens almost every year. We get a lot of rain. And I just want a motion that, I've looked at this plan, and these are some small lots they're planning to make. And I would rather see the larger lots and leave it as R1. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Eva Giddens. I live on Greenwood Cove. I've been there about a year and a half now. So I know we already touched base on the suit that they are currently involved in Lonoke County. I just wanted to raise a concern because he just said that the Arkansas Department of Energy Environmental Quality Division found nothing wrong. I have in these papers here, I have copies for you if you want.
I don't think that's in our purview.
I don't know.
They did perform an inspection in '22 on the existing project that has damaged surrounding properties, rendering the pond that the neighborhood was built around unusable for recreation. They did perform an inspection and found the following violations. Off-site tracking of sediment was present on Main Street at the side entrance. Furthermore, sediment is being discharged from the outfall of the sediment basin. Failure to properly maintain BMPs violates Part 2, Section A, subsection 4, 2, and 1, and Part B, or Part 2, B, and 17 of the permit. Additionally, the discharged sediment appears likely to cause pollution to the waters of the state in violation of the Arkansas Water and Air Pollution Control Act. Also, proper outlet structures are not in place for the sediment basin. Failure to install proper outlet structures is in violation of Part 1B 13F of the permit. And then further on, velocity dissipation devices are not installed in places where they were required. Failure to install those were in violation of Part 2A 413B of the permit. I wanted to point that out because that was inconsistent with what Mr. Pruss said earlier. I'm concerned because at the last meeting, a councilman literally raised the concern about the flooding over in the April and Tory Lane area, to which these gentlemen responded, "Oh, I'm sure my guys can throw some more dirt at it." That just seemed like blatant disregard for the effect that it will have on the existing community. And I am really uncomfortable with a company like that building in my neighborhood. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, we'll call the public hearing to a close. Thank you for your comments. Commissioners, do you have questions for the developer? Discussion?
Yes, I do. These 1,400 square foot houses you're building, are they comparable to the houses that's already over there, price wise? I mean, it won't hurt their land values or their property values? Honestly, not. I mean, they're gonna be newer, more updated, they're gonna be nice homes. They're not gonna be thrown together, spec houses. They're gonna be nice houses.
All right, I got a couple of questions, and I'm going to kind of repeat back what some of our constituents have brought up. First of all, the train noise. I know those trees are part of the sound buffer out there, but they asked the question, were there plans of leaving any of the trees out there?
I mean, the only trees we're gonna take down is what we're gonna develop on the lots.
Okay, they also asked about a green belt there between the subdivision and the existing Wynwood. Were you gonna leave those in there, or were those houses gonna have a double frontage on Wynwood and your proposed street there?
In all honesty, I had to see how far the trees set back onto the lots, because some of the home builders don't want the trees on their lots.
Okay. They asked about the drainage ditch. We know that that's a flood-prone area. It's in flood zone AE there, which is also the bottom of April and Tory Lane there that we had to condemn those houses several years ago. That's really only the southern portion of the property. You did not extend all the way down to the train tracks there and their right-of-way, but you did have some of the houses in there. You talked about bringing in fill. You've also got your drawings here that appear to extend without the intent of being a hammerhead for fire equipment turnaround is there plans on extending this subdivision into the farther eastern reaches of the plot? Okay, what about the drainage ditches that you control between the holding site here and the adjacent hunting land that's immediately west of there? Do you have any intent to help mitigate some of the flooding we have there? And I understand part of it is not in your control, it belongs to the railroad and their right-of-way there.
What I would call the bar ditch that runs alongside the railroad that's on Robert's property, a lot of that, which, they're gonna say, oh, he's just probably lying about it, but there's a lot of beaver dams in that area, okay? So a lot of that we'll be able to go in with the excavator and we will clean that up.
Okay. All right. You also heard their concerns about the added impact of some, what is it, about 30 homes that are going to be put in there. And we only have two egress there, Dogwood Drive and then the primary, which is Wynwood, and especially the 8 o'clock in the morning crowd and the 3:30 to 5:30 crowd out there. That's a real concern, and that's a concern that our commissioners are going to have to look at before we can go forward with this. Let's see. And as for the pollution downstream caused by, I think what she was referring to, the pollution, I haven't seen that study, so I don't have any questions on that. But we do have some significant low ground there, which you have no intent of developing. Are you going to leave it undeveloped, or are you going to bring it to where it has better cross flow of the?
Planning on, honestly, we're planning on going through there. We're gonna do the subdivision in the areas that are holding water currently. We're planning on trying to clean that up and help the drainage situation that's going on. A lot of the drainage issues that's going on in that area can be addressed just with us knocking out the beaver dams, widening those ditches and making that area flow better.
Okay. All right. Those are my questions.
Commissioners, other questions, comments?
Can I ask one more question? Just one.
I'm gonna deviate from our norm and give you one more, okay? This is it.
Just one question. After you get done developing the place, will you be replanting the trees you tore down to get in?
No, sir.
There'll be houses.
All right, commissioners, other discussion or questions? Someone wish to make a motion on
Hold
this?
on, let's continue to talk
Okay.
about this. So I'm going to ask commissioners how they feel about that traffic load that's put on there between the 8 o'clock traffic load and the 3 to 5:30 traffic load.
Well, there's gonna be no more there's gonna be no more difference traffic if it's R1 or R4.
Yeah, there will be.
Not really.
R1's got bigger lots.
Well, not really.
I think he said they got 4 lots, so 8 cars a day is the
Yeah,
difference
so,
probably.
and you have
Still has the
you have a
traffic.
growing town, you have traffic. So, I mean, they're well within their right to do it R1.
We're at the point now where we probably need to make recommendations to the street department, especially to the highway, to put a stoplight down there at Wynwood at Center Street. It's not meant that we can do it. All we can do is make that recommendation. Even city council doesn't have that power, because but I'm hoping that we can get some kind of a workaround on that. And you're right, the Dogwood access is terrible. And we've got that manhole that's got the pump out of all the gravel underneath it is causing even a bigger problem. So that's something, and that road barely is wide enough, so. All right.
And like he said on that, that's the city, as far as to change the traffic issue, they have to put in a study. So it takes a lot of time, and I'm sure you guys know that. I was on the city council. I put in for one many years on 64. We had a major problem over there. I put in for it for like 6 years, and finally they did it after 6 years. Y'all keep talking to your city council, talk to your mayor, and have them put in for that study. And once they realize the problem's there, we could potentially get some help from the state of Arkansas. As far as the problems on Dogwood, I think you can also address those concerns with your council members there. You guys in that region are, should be Ward 3, I believe. Talk to your council members there and let them know, and the mayor as well, so Squeaky will get gets the grease. So if y'all just wanna explain those problems to the city council that y'all are already having, regardless of this particular scenario, that can definitely help too, and I'll send an email out this morning for you guys as well.
And Dogwood does belong entirely to the city, whereas Center Street belongs to the state highway.
state, correct.
And I think what the engineer done, correct me if I'm wrong, is, I mean, you took this piece of property and you sized the lots based on the piece of property. And I mean, you're so close to an R1 anyhow, you're just trying to make the lots fit in the box.
Trying to make it work, that's right. And we're basically using what's up on top of the hill,
Yep.
what's out of the floodplain, and using the dirt that's there.
Yep.
Balancing that side.
And it doesn't change you know, when you, whether it's an R1 or an R4, the bill of assurance determines the house size and all that. So, I mean, you could take an R1 and build a 900 square foot house.
Same width of road, same.
Yes.
So if you guys look really close, the R1, R4 designation, the square footage in these lot sizes, some of, not all of, but a lot of these already meet the R1 regulations. So they could build this subdivision pretty close to what it is now. They're just gonna put a little bit more on there. So I really think these guys wanna help out the situation, but if they wanted to do it anyway, they really probably could. And that's I mean, they're just trying to get a little bit more for what they're doing.
The other thing I would mention, just in passing, if someone chooses to rezone their property to R4 from R1, the city actually puts a little more,
There's more
restriction on the developer. So for example, this is R1 right now. Legally speaking, if they chose to put 600 square foot houses, they
Tiny
could.
homes.
They could.
They could put tiny homes.
Not anything anybody could do about it. If they rezone this to R4, that's off the table. They can't do that. So it's not all negative here. There are pros and cons, and I think everybody's done a good job expressing your concerns. But I just want you to be aware that an aggressive developer who owns this with R1 could do things that you certainly wouldn't want in your neighborhood either. So there's, again, pros and cons. Commissioners, other thoughts, questions?
I want to
discussion?
clarify just one more thing, and somebody had brought it up earlier, but if this was to get approved R4 or if it stayed R1, either one, and they brought an actual subdivision to us to approve, it has to meet all of the criteria of our engineer, and one of the criteria as far as the flooding issue that you guys are talking about, it has to be at pre-development. So basically, whatever the flood situation is there, the water drainage situation now, their subdivision that they're building cannot have any impact on that whatsoever. So basically, whenever they do their studies and it shows, you know, the bar graph shows where the water levels and everything are at now, whatever they build, whether it's R1 or R4, cannot add to that situation, if that makes sense. It either has to come in less, which means they would do things to improve the situations there, or it has to come in the same, but it cannot add value to the flooding situation, if that makes sense.
And we have a lot more restrictive drainage code now than we ever have with all the development that's happening.
Or more. Any further discussion or questions? I'm sorry, I meant from the commission.
Well, let's put it to a vote. Put it to
Someone
rest.
wish to make a motion one way or another on the
I'll make
request?
a motion to rezone the Winwood property from R1 to R4.
Second.
Okay, there's a proper motion and a second to grant the rezone request as submitted.
I call for a roll call vote.
Okay. Goff,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Bannerman,
Yes.
Warden,
Yes.
Westergan,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
I abstain. Okay,
Two more, Commissioner,
that motion,
Chairman, you got two more for it.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I'm sorry. Webb.
Yep.
Who else have I missed? I'm
I
sorry.
would know, I was
Look
just
at the
kidding
minutes.
about
Okay, I'm sorry. So the motion carries, and the rezone is approved as requested. For those in the room who do have, I think, very legitimate concerns, do be aware that the subdivision that they propose will come back before this body. I don't know when, but keep your eyes and ears open. Encourage you to be here and to be as engaged in that process as much as you'd like to be. We'll have more details about exactly where the lot's set, exactly where the streets will be and that sort of thing at that point. And it may look exactly like what you've seen tonight, but it may be dramatically different. I want to be clear on that. So don't assume that what you saw tonight on the subdivision is what it will be if it is approved at some point. Okay, very good. Next item on our agenda. We have a rezone application for David Pruitt for property on South Main Street. I think the purposes of this tonight is just to determine whether or not it's on the agenda next month. Is that right? Is there anything that you're aware of that would prevent that, or that would be, make it unless y'all feel differently, certainly I think we need to advertise this and hear it just like we would any other.
Move to place it on the schedule for the January meeting.
There's a proper motion and a second to place this on the January meeting.
Before you vote, has everybody had a chance to read the letter?
Yes, I have.
Okay. James, did he give you intent on what he was planning on doing with that property out there?
He said that he was going to have
He wanted to do a boarding or a rooming house out there. It's the only zone that it's allowed in, so I just wanted you to be aware of that. That's a stated intent, but that's all I've got from him on that.
You know what? I'm gonna let you have mine.
Okay.
Very well.
You want another one?
Okay, so that's something we'll hear,
Excuse me, ladies.
we're still trying to have a meeting.
We'll keep that up there, but look, we got meetings, okay?
Okay, next item on our agenda,
No, we haven't raised
sorry.
that yet.
I guess all in.
We need to determine whether or not that's gonna be on the January agenda. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Multiple seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that will appear on our January agenda. Item 8, lot split. Mr. Carson, you wanna update us on what we're looking at here?
Yes, I just had two lots that were 50 by 150, and I'm trying to put three lots there, 50 by 100. There's already two houses on the front, and I had that big wasted area in the back that I want to put another house on.
You built two brand new houses here already, James?
One.
Gotcha. But you're gonna build two more.
I'm gonna build one more. The other one next to it, which is the first one, not on the corner, but next it's that old White House that was built in 1940.
Are they the ones straight across from the two white houses we built?
Yes.
Okay, I know what you're talking
But I am gonna build another house like the new one I put there.
about. Okay, I got you.
That's a big lot,
Yeah.
Very big lots out back. I got all that wasted, I got 80 foot between the lot and them houses, so.
And James, this is in an area where it's original lot of record, right?
Yeah.
So that, we've done the 50 by 100s forever, I
Yeah.
think.
That's what we
approved.
did on those two white houses, basically what you're doing, yeah.
But James, I've got one concern, is within an R1 zoning district, we don't allow the creation of a 50-foot lot line.
The
front
two
lot
up
line.
front are already 50 foot.
Yeah, they're in the old part of BB.
But they're grandfathered in.
Okay.
Okay, we don't allow the creation, even if it's, the original plat is under the the 50-foot lot line. So my concern is, are we going to be going against our own ordinance here in creating a 50-foot lot line in this minor subdivision, or this minor lot split?
Well, I'm not cutting it any smaller than